Week 2 of preseason is among us. Preseason is a lot like kissing your cousin. It's not the real thing, but it's close enough until you're ready. And I'm ready to watch some Jaguars football. I'm ready to watch the starters play. What I'm not ready for is for Trevor Lawrence to throw an interception on his second play of scrimmage. What are you doing, man? It's literally the second pass of the season, and he already hit us with the, fuck it, Ridley's down there somewhere. After the game, Coach Peterson came out and said that, he didn't read it wrong, whatever the case was, the ball just slipped. And I know that's just a bro looking after a bro. It's mating season. You don't want to show any weakness. Despite that throw, whatever happened on that play, Trevor Lawrence looked really good. And his connection with Ridley was what we're hoping for. At the top of his drop, he was rifling them shits in there. And if the Jags offense can pick up 8 yards or a first down on a simple throw like that, it's going to be one hell of a season. Now, Ridley did look good. He definitely looks a lot faster than the rest of our receivers, which is good. But he also looked human. That block attempt he had on the Christian Kirk screen pass is literally what I would look like right now if I went and tried to throw a block in the NFL. This is me pursuing my dreams and life rejecting me. This is me saying I'm going to start a diet and then ordering pizza for dinner. This is me trying to get to Chick-fil-A, and it's a Sunday. Trevor Lawrence showed great poise in the pocket on that touchdown pass to Kirk. He hung in there, waited for Kirk to clear the defense, and then he had great touch pass on the 2-point conversion to Zay Jones. Now, we know he's got arm strength, but those touch passes, those are the ones that give you a bone dog. Speaking of quarterbacks, I have to shout out Nathan O'Rourke. Does he go by Nate? I don't know. I'm going to call him Nate. Had probably the most badass play in the first week of preseason. Escaped 3 sacks. The fourth guy hanging off his nutsack. He set his feet and launched it for a touchdown pass. Whether that was against third stringers or not, that was a legit play. Maybe a QB competition. But all in all, even though Trevor Lawrence threw that pick, I don't expect him to do that in the regular season. He didn't do that last year. He didn't really force a lot of passes. Only thing I could think of is that he didn't want to run because it was preseason, and he was just like, fuck it, who cares? The offense did play against basically the Cowboys' backups on defense. So this week, they're playing the Lions, which just came out that they're probably not playing their starters in the game, but Jaguars do have a joint practice going on with them. I'm assuming Dan Campbell doesn't want to play his starters because they already had a joint practice last week with the Giants. Or maybe, he doesn't want to get embarrassed on national TV. But I'm not going to lie, I'm kind of glad the starters aren't playing in the game. Last time the Jaguars played the Lions, they got their ass whooped. And second, Trevor Lawrence got folded like a fucking pretzel. I'm hoping that if there's any pressure in the game from anybody, because the Lions have a deep defensive line, he just fucking punts the ball, right? Let's not risk it here. While we won't be able to probably see Trevor Lawrence go against the starters in the game, obviously that practice against the ones is essentially going to be his work for this week. Hopefully when we get to see him on Saturday, even though it's against backups, hopefully it just looks smooth, offense clicks, because a lot of offense, especially in the passing game, is all about timing, and that's what they work on in preseason. So if the timing's right, which it looked like in week 1, that should be an indication that, things are brewing. The Lions offense last year was a really solid unit, and definitely had one of the better offensive lines in the league. So it will be interesting to see how Jaguars generate a pass rush, if they're sending a lot of blitzes, or if their 4-down linemen can generate that pressure. Again, if the starters don't play, we won't be able to see that. But as long as they're getting their work with the top offensive line, it can only make them better. But even after the Cowboys showing last week, obviously the Jacksonville Jaguars aren't sold on their defensive line because they're meeting with Jadeveon Clowney. Rumor has it that he's bringing his trash bins that we sent him in 2017. So let that be a lesson for you, Mr. Clowney. No one calls Bortles trash except us. But for the right price, I'm all for it. It's like spending money on an NFT. You know it's risky. You don't know what it's going to do for you. You convince your friends you know what you're talking about. And then 1 year later, you just pretend you didn't invest. We'll see what happens with Jadeveon Clowney. Hopefully the line can generate pressure, because if they don't, I'm going to fucking suit up. And, of course, the Jags secondary will definitely be tested. Like I said, Lions have a really good offense. Receivers led by Amon-Ra St. Brown. They also have Jamison Williams, who, even though he's suspended, was supposed to play a lot in the preseason, but apparently he has a hamstring injury, so that's not going to happen. And, of course, the Lions signed back Marvin Jones, who used to play for the Jaguars. And if there's one thing that's certain is if you're a former Jaguars player playing the Jaguars, you're going to make a play. Now, preseason, of course, is not the end-all, be-all. Typically, teams who suck in the preseason, it does not matter for the regular season. teams that do well in the preseason, it really doesn't matter. Of course, you want to see where you stack up with the rest of the league, even though it's in preseason. Lions are very similar to the Jaguars, number 1 overall and number 2 overall picks in 2022. Both finished 9-8, and honestly, if the Lions weren't in the NFC North, and if you flip-flop the Jaguars with the Lions and put the Lions in the AFC South, they probably win that division as well and go on to the playoffs. So they're very similar teams on a very similar trajectory. What I'm looking for mostly is just to see how the timing of the offense, even if it's against backups, to see how everything flows. Other than that, it's preseason. We're literally just waiting for the season to start. We have nothing else to do. Until next time.